division. So let's dive right into it, man. I called this matchup a while ago: Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank the Ghost Martin. Um, I told my homeboy back then, and I even told my YouTube subscribers, man, like believe it or not, if y'all go check out the videos that I did on, I believe, the Four Kings, when I was talking about Tank Davis, I believe it was Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. Um, I don't know if Lomachenko and Tiafimo was in that conversation at the time, but I told y'all it was only three kings, and that was Devin, Shakur, and Tank. Frank Martin is a really good fighter. He's a really Earl Spence fighter. He's a really good fighter, and he shocked me when he beat Michelle Rivera. You know, but I knew Tank was going to either take that Michelle Rivera fight or the Frank Martin fight, the winner between those two. And Frank Martin showed me a lot because I did not expect him to beat Michelle Rivera. Like I didn't even think it was going to be close. You know, I didn't think it was going to be that wide of a margin either, but I didn't think it was going to be that close. And he surprised me. Tremendous athleticism, tremendous speed, tremendous footwork. Uh, pretty good power. Not necessarily Gervonta Tank Davis power, but not Devin Haney and slightly above Shakur's power. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know who to pick in this particular fight. If I had to bet my house on it, if I had to bet my money on it, it would probably be Tank. But this is a very dangerous fight for Tank. This is a very dangerous, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because one thing about black fighters, they always seem to fight every other ethnicity, a fighter than their own. They always seem to fight just other ethnicity of fighters. And the problem with that is me being a basketball player and a football player, I know, and if you're an athlete out there, you know that is a whole different level when you're going against your own kind, because we just have certain God-gifted abilities that others don't have. Mike Harden in the building. Salute, brother. I see you still doing your thing. Yes, sir. Salute to you, brother. It's been a long time. Shadow Assassin. Salute, brothers. Yeah, so I always felt like Tank Davis, if he was going to fight anybody between Shakur and Dev, it would have probably been Devin. But this was at a time where I really didn't know too much about Frank the Ghost Martin, but I would have picked Gervonta to fight Devin. But fighting Devin has its own challenges. And I ain't going to really dive too much into that now because Devin has a whole lot more to worry about, with the PDs, with Ryan Garcia cheating and all of that stuff. Devin don't even know. Well, I think Devin feels like he's going to continue to fight, but we don't even know if Devin has suffered a significant amount of injuries to the point where he can't even be the same anymore. You get what I'm saying? Devin might not even be the same anymore. So that's a whole different discussion in itself that we'll have a little bit down the line, maybe in the coming weeks. Who knows? But Frank the Ghost Martin and Gervonta Davis, this is going to be a barn burner. But make no bones about it. This is going to be Gervonta's greatest test yet. Frank the Ghost Martin is not Mario Barrios. But I would like to see Frank the Ghost Martin fight Pitbull Cruz. I feel like Pitbull Cruz is a very good fighter. He's very fast. He's sneaky in that conversation. I seen Pitbull Cruz turn down that fight with Shakur Stevenson. My personal top three right now, Wilder used to be number one, but after the Fury whole thing and my stories behind that, and then the recent loss to Joseph Parker, I ain't really, hopefully Wilder will get a big win over Zhilei Zhang. I think it's June the 1st, and he'll get back on his knockout streak. But my top fighters is Boots Ennis, number one, ain't duck no smoke. Um, David Benavidez, number two. Even though I feel like David Benavidez ducked David Morrell, so I should put Morrell in there. But David Benavidez has been knocking out. He knocked out Caleb Plant. He's been calling out Canelo for the longest. David Benavidez has been reigning. He's been on a tear. You feel me? So David Benavidez number two, Boots Ennis number one, and Shakur number three. Who else? I guess we could toss Devin in there at four. The reason why I don't put Gervonta Davis in there is because Gervonta Davis is kind of similar to Floyd in a way, as far as like being very selective of who he chooses to fight. That's why I said this is going to be his biggest test. Black, slick fighter, with tremendous skills. We all know, like if you play sports, it's a significant level of competitiveness and competition when it comes to our own as opposed to other races. You get what I'm saying? As opposed to the Mario Barrios or the Leo Santa Cruzes and so forth and so on. Even the Pitbull Cruz. It's a different type of monster when it comes to, blacks and our, athleticism and stuff like that and the quickness. So that's why I feel like this will be not only his biggest name, but his biggest challenge in Gervonta Tank Davis when it comes to Frank Martin. And like I said, it's a very dangerous fight. And I wouldn't even be surprised in the slightest if Gervonta was to lose this fight. But he should win. He should win. I feel like Gervonta Tank Davis' biggest challenge. He said, because Blue Blood said, shout out to Blue Blood TV, he said Gervonta's biggest challenge was uh, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and himself. And Gervonta said, you got the last one right because I'm my only biggest challenge. But me personally, I agree with Blue Blood TV. But I personally feel like Shakur is a nightmare for Gervonta. I feel like Shakur is a nightmare. It's Gervonta's worst nightmare. Not from a standpoint of he's going to beat Gervonta down or none of that, but because of his defensive wizardry. You see what I'm saying? Shakur, to me, has the greatest defense since Floyd. He gets hit the least in boxing. Shakur Stevenson is one of my favorite boxers right now doing it. Boots Ennis is my favorite boxer doing it right now. My favorite boxer ever was Evander Holyfield. And one of my favorites that to ever do it in this generation and in any generation is, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber. You know, I love me some Deontay Wilder, regardless of what they say about, him not having skill and none of that. Most definitely. Um, and I like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis and fighters like that. But yeah, this is going to be a hell of a fight between Frank and Tank. Between Frank and Tank, they're right. But and I see Tank being victorious. Hopefully, Tank can stay on this trend, and we can continue to get the fights that we want. You know, I wouldn't even be mad if Tank was to fight Pitbull Cruz again. I wouldn't even be mad. But that's a very dangerous fight that I don't think Gervonta wants to get back into. Uh, but I definitely want to see him in Shakur. But I feel like that fight not gonna happen no time soon. I personally feel that way. I know people feel like Tank is gonna fight Shakur eventually, and Shakur is calling out Tank. There's also talks of, well, Tank called out Vasil Lomachenko. I don't believe that fight is going to happen. It may, if it does, it's probably going to happen after this. But can see Tank fighting. What's the Asian guy's name? I think the Chinese guy's name. The monster. I forgot his name right off the bat. Uh, but somebody tell me in the comment section. I forgot his name. The monster. But I can see him and Tank getting it on next because that was in talks and works. But be, I the thing with Frank that makes me lean more towards Tank is that I don't know how good it was a fight that Frank was in, and he had a tough time, you know. And I know boxers have a bad night in the office, but he still managed to win that fight. But I just seen a lot in that fight that raised a few concerns, and Gervonta just seems like he has a point to prove in this particular fight. He's been staying in good shape. We haven't heard about him being overweight on the scales no more, you know. And he's embracing being the face of boxing. Me personally, I feel like once again, Gervonta Davis' toughest fights will be against Shakur and Dev. Now, will I be surprised again if Frank was to win? No, because Frank is a really good fighter. I just don't know enough about Frank, and I haven't seen enough to know if he's battle tested to the Tank level. But we'll find out when they fight. But what do you guys think? It's your boy Double R, man. Hit the like button, hit subscribe button, hit the bell icon. What do you guys think? Can you see? Do you see Gervonta Tank Davis knocking Frank Martin out, or it going the distance? And if you see Gervonta Tank Davis knocking Frank Martin out, in what round? If I had to make a prediction, I would say Gervonta Tank Davis, possible late stoppage, if not uh, him winning on cards, basically. Him winning on cards, unanimous decision, or possible late round stoppage, like 10th round, 11th round stoppage. Let me know what y'all think. It's your boy Double R, man. Deuces.